Hey, people, this is Hannah Barron. She's so fine you cover her with mud and catfish sludge and she can't hide it. And according to ancient Alabama tradition, this is God. And according to ancient Hebrew tradition, the fish is the God, and she is the servant carrying the God. And so she's from Alabama. You know she's Catholic, being from Alabama. Allah meaning God, and Bama in mother, the God in mother. You can catch her channel over there at Hannah Barron. You can see her catch some big old fish, or shooting guns, or hunting, or mud riding, or just doing things that Southern boys love. And I was reading my Bible, and Numbers 7:9 made me think about her when it's talking about the holy things on their shoulders which they carried, and this on their shoulders is all of them in catfish, a catfish of, and all of them a catfish of was on their shoulders they carried. So I pulled this line off in the Hebrew and the Greek and the Latin. I put them all side by side and color coded some of it so we could see. And it's plain easy to see. Here it's talking about the humerus is the shoulder. And the humerus is the bone from your elbow to your shoulder. And then here it's talking about the palm on arouse. Upon their shoulders they shall lift, is a pat on the back. But it's the part of the body that is labeling is the palm and the humerus. And here it's in catfish of. But this word fish up, this P-I-S-A-U, this is fish of is the cat. The cat loves the fish. He's catching the fish. And the cat, the ancient Latin term for the cat is the pishu. And on their shoulders they carried. And you see all that ancient art, especially in Egypt. A lot of them have the cat draped around their back they're carrying. But the pishu is the word they say is the Greek word for a cubit, which is also the pishu. The pishus they say is about 1.5 feet, but that's because they're trying to jam a mistranslation over everything. Of uncertain affinity, the forearm as a measure. That part of the arm between the hand and the elbow joint. It's about 12 inches. It's a ruler. So between the three Bibles, it's pointing out 3 different places, talking about the forearm, and it's talking about with the palms on, where the palm arouse, which is usually a pat on the ass, a pat on the back, and the port on humerus. The humerus is the upper arm bone. And I had found something last week, I'm not finding again, where they said the pishu is the name of the radius bone. But we could look and see all the mistranslations. A filly is a little girl. It's never boys. Fillies are young female horses or young females. And the fillies autumn catch. None did it flaws stressed in ofs. None did it. It did not. He did not. None did it. A flaw, F-L-A-W, the flaw, and then the S-T-R, the A-E reads the E-S, a stress, the flaw stressed in ofs. And so a flaw stressed in ofs, if there's a flaw in something, you can see the stress cracks around it, and that's the carts and the oxen that cause the ruts. And it had no flaws stressed in ofs. No flaws were visible. And the young girls autumn catch with no flaws, 10s. And this is K, as in Spanish, porque. Porque means why, and it also means because. And most of these QU words, you replace that QU with a W or a vav. And it's why, like in the Hebrew when I read why means how or who, and why did you do it? Well, I did it why, for because, for porque, for why, For why? So when Spanish people are arguing, they're saying the same thing. Why did you do it? For why? Por qué? And the person is answering said, I did it because. Por qué? And so why in the sanctuary a servient? Why? Who's in the sanctuary a servient? And so back in the day, it was not sons. It was little girls in the sanctuary. They were temple prostitutes. It wasn't little boys. That's a Catholic thing. You see that right there. That's where the Catholic come from. Put the little boys, put your sons in there as altar boys, where it used to be girls. And the fillies of him catch, none did it. The flaws stressed in ofs were showing no flaws. Why in sanctuary a servant, a servient, to serve in the sanctuary, its honor a proper ease. It's honor, so your burden, is what's up on you, what you're carrying, the honor, the weight that's on you. And so to honor somebody properly, the honor proper is the important, the humor is to raise them up on your shoulder, to humor them. And so the proper is the carry, it means the proper way to honor them. The proper to honor is to carry up on your shoulder, the weight, put it up. And the important, and honor a proper is important, humorous. And so you have to humor your temple slaves. And the girls of them catch, none did it, the flaws stressed in ofs. Don't point out the defects. Because in the sanctuary servient, its honor proper is important humors. And then in the Greek, and this reads as what, and the OI reads the E, and what is. And what is, and this read is a vi is, VI, and the OI reads the E again. And what is, why is the reasons for being. What is, why is, because is what this says. And what is, why is catch of the Dolan. And so the catch of the Dolan is what you were dealt. The dole, the K followed by the E reads the L. And so what you were dealt in the deck, and some were dealt, none did it flaws, and they had no flaws to be seen. And some weren't born so pretty. And what is, why is catch of the Dolan? What you caught from the deal. Add it a liturgimata. And so, the liturgical, a liturgical matter, that has to do with the administration of the church. And what it is all liturgical matters, they would add it elite, the orgy, at the elite orgy. And so when they had matters to deal with, they would have a big elite orgy, and they would bang the temple prostitutes, and the temple prostitutes would tell them the answers in this orgy, drunken wine orgasm. And the answer was usually, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, that's Jesus. Ancient story about how to get the name of God from the Jewish women. And you fuck them till they holler it. Oh yes, yes, oh yes, Jesus. And the elite orgy matted up, orgy mat, the place you go to have the orgy on the mat, on the floor. Mat was the god that stayed at the floor of the feet, the gods in Egypt, mat. And the matted of, and a G following the A, I haven't figured out exactly when, but sometime it reads as an N, as an angel, and this reads as an on you. On you, the chosen, the palm on arouse. On you, the chosen, the palm on arouse. And so in the Greek, the A words, they also read backwards. And it changes it from arouse to any's war. And then in the Hebrew, it totally twists. And they did a damn good job of trying to make the King James interpretation of the Latin match the other two. But the sons of coat. This is a fit. This is will benefit. Will benefit and the lantern. And so the L followed by the A reads as an N most of the time. And I'm sure a lot of our words has evolved to read as an L, that people knew the meaning but didn't know how to pronounce it. But it's a nun, a nunya, nun, N-O-N, and nundin, N-A-N-T-N, N-A-N-D-N, nundin, and none he gave. You got nunned. And the girls who wasn't giving up no leg, they was nunning them. You ain't getting none of this. And will benefit a nundin, the virgins, the nundin. The sighted in, backwards and forwards. The sighted, TD, the sighted in a bit. The sighted in a bit, or just the none didn't see a bit. To see the service of the gods. The gods, all them in catfish of. The gods, all them in catfish of. You know what catfish means? A fake profile. A fake profile used to get little girls. That's the catfish. The fillies of them catch. And will benefit none in sea. Abit the gods. So the gods, the cados, the avocados, your holy things, that's your nuts. The gods. And so the God of Solomon, S-O-L-E-M, and B reads the N, the God Solomon, the loan, the God Solomon in catfish of. And you can read about that in Corey's Fragments. It'll tell a story about the fish god that taught man everything. And you see it in a lot of the ancient art. Everybody had the fish gods, especially the Syrians. But in Latin here, you see it's got this word they call the carts and the oxen. And you don't see it here in the Greek or in the Hebrew. And that's what I was wanting to check. I seen this word in the Hebrew and I was wanting to check it out in the Greek and Latin. And so it's talking about it through the lines before this. And it's talking about the 6 carts and the 12 mules that's being passed out to the heads of the state of Israel. But the temple priests didn't get none because they didn't need none because they carried their fish on the shoulder. See, everybody just got it. Every man got it according to his service. And his service was the cap and then the J-O-B. The job did too. The cap job did too. Whatever hat you wear, is your job. The cap job did too, according to his service, depending on the hat he wears. And all alum, not the Levites, the E-L-U-I-M, the alum. And all alumes, a maze is always white. Everything with the A's in it means white. And the alum, all amaze, the white light, the cap jobbed it too. And then here, when it started talking about this carts, so took Moses the carts and the oxen and gave them to the Levites. And so what it actually says is wife, W-I-F-H is a wife, W-I-F-E, your wife. And it means Y means how or who, and the Q-H means fuck. And the person that you're fucking, that's your wife. Whoever you're matched up to, you're wed up to. Doesn't have to be people. It could be objects wifed together. The way you would wife a dovetail fit on a cabinetry, it's wifed. They're locked in. And the wife from see it haggled. What have for whiten autumn all alum. And so what happened is Moses done brought his wife down to the Saturday sale. What's your wife do? The wife from see at haggle. She's over there haggling with the dude on the fruit carts, and haggled. What have EV? What of fruit? F-R-U-I-T-N. What of the fruit in autumn all alone? What you should light, illume. Let us see what's going on with your fruit. And so the haggle, is what she's arguing with the dude that has the fruit cart, and the oxen. This comes from the before, and so whatever's pulling the cart comes before. And you see the same word for morning, and there was morning and there was evening, and the before is the morning. And what's before the cart? What before the whole the haggle is the oxen. That's where they're getting that oxen from. But so you would use an oxen, but it doesn't mean oxen. When you draw a picture of an ox, it just means that before. This is first. This comes before what's going on. When you see an oxen, what's happening comes after, is in the haggle it. And wife 'em see it haggled, what have the fruit in autumn all alone. And so she's over there haggling with the dude on the fruit cart. And hey, if you can't get me a better price on these fruits, all of them, I will tell everybody all alone. I will let everybody know. And at stay is when you're sitting back talking about your wife and the dude on the cart at it. They're at stay haggled. And she's trying to beat him off. And they haggled what are bought. Not for, but what are bought. Before I buy it, I'm going to beat you down to a price that I'm happy with. And this is where the word Jew comes from. It's what the word means. The same word for Lord in Hebrew is Jew. And it means to give it a value. And I'm going to devalue it because of them scratches and them bruises. And what are bought have the front in. And living, what you're doing for a living. And the front in living, aggression cap job did them. They did the job of the aggression. And so aggression means the exile. Exile, trying to get the hell out, exile. And you see that in the names. The only time this name comes up here, it'll come with, the son, Ben aggression, like, digress, and I got off the subject, and Ben aggression, let me get back to where I was and out of exile. And so most of these in exile, exile, that's the word for out of the land of Egypt, and to get out. And at stay haggled, what are bought, have front in living aggression. The cap job did them. According to your service, the job did them. And I'm going to look at some of these fish gods here, and I'm going to cut this off here. It's a good day.